Welcome, everyone, to Infinite Fantasy, the show where we're going through every piece of Final Fantasy media that has ever been made and ranking them based on how much they define Final Fantasy as a franchise.
Yes.
I'm Alex.
I'm Kevin.
And if you're seeing us right now, it's because you're watching the video form of the podcast. We're doing the video for this one.
Yeah, the first time I think we've done a video.
Yeah, for this show. It's because it's a special episode. It's a secret episode.
Oh, yes.
I have not told Kevin what we're doing
Yeah, I have no
for this
idea.
episode. But before we even get into that, I mean, you know what it is because you're watching it and it has the title right underneath the video or whatever.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. So let's talk about the news before we get into the topic of today's episode.
Of course.
So it's been like a little bit since we did an episode last. So there's been some things. They announced a new Final Fantasy XIV expansion called Dawn Trail. It's going to come out in summer 2024.
Nice.
Looks cool. There's like a new area in the game that's like an island. So there's going to be some cool like beach stuff going on in that game. I'm excited to get to that game
Always
at some
fun.
point.
Yeah, they're always adding stuff to that.
Yeah. Then there's Final Fantasy XIV is coming to Xbox now.
Wow.
It wasn't on Xbox before, but now it is.
Nice.
Or will be. I don't know when that's happening, but yeah. Then Final Fantasy XIV had a collab with Fall Guys, which I played through all of it so I could get all the costumes.
Mm-hmm.
I had to play a lot of Fall Guys.
Yeah.
But I got all the costumes.
You got them all?
So yeah, I did.
Nice.
So once we get to that on our list, we'll do a video about those costumes eventually.
That's great.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles 20th anniversary this year. That game, I've never played it.
I have it on. I think I have it for the Wii.
Oh, really?
But I've never played it.
It seems cool. What I know about it is like it's 3-player for some reason, not 4-player, and it's like an action. It's like a Zelda kind of game, like a top-down like kind of action game. I think.
I don't really know much about it. But
I've
sure
heard
it's great.
good.
I'm sure all the Final Fantasy games are great.
Oh, yes. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis came out in September. It is an app that is like retelling the story of Final Fantasy VII in some way. I haven't touched it yet at all, so I don't know what's up with it. But that's something.
Yeah.
Ever Crisis. Chocobo's Dungeon, the board game, was announced, which is hype.
We need that.
That comes out March 2024. That's so soon.
Gotta pre-order that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. That looks cool. That looks very fun.
Wow, that sounds really hype.
Yeah, I'll have to show you pictures after this.
Yeah, gotta do a video on that.
Oh, yes. 10th anniversary of Final Fantasy XIV is this year, too, which is crazy. I didn't realize that game was that old.
That is crazy.
So
still updating, too.
Yeah, still updating. 30th anniversary of Mystic Quest, a classic game.
That one was great.
A lot of anniversaries happened recently. And then we finally got a release date for Final Fantasy VII Remake 2. It's going to be February 29th.
Oh, yes, very soon.
For right now, as far as we're saying this, I don't know if they're going to delay it at all, but that's soon. It looks cool. But that's all the news that's happened so far. I'm excited for all that, especially excited for that Chocobo Dungeon board game.
I didn't
that's
even
going
hear
to be
about
sick.
that.
So let's get into the topic of today's episode. It's something we've talked about before. We talked about it super early on in the show.
Okay.
But we didn't do an episode on it for a specific reason. And that's because we couldn't really find it anywhere. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. We're talking about the Final Fantasy II novel today.
Okay.
We're talking about Muma no Meikyū, a.k.a. like Labyrinth of Nightmares or whatever. So I wanted to talk about this because every time I open up the master list, it haunts me that that's not crossed out.
I agree.
It's there. So we haven't been doing it. Long-time listeners know we haven't been doing it because there was someone who was fan translating it on Tumblr, who I think it's just called ff2book.tumblr.com or something like that.
Yeah.
The link will be in the description. They were doing a fan translation of it. They were doing it really slowly. But we were reading along, and it was like really interesting. But then they just stopped updating it. Like the last update was like 2020 or something.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
It was like 3 years ago. So I don't know. I'm not gonna learn Japanese for this show. That's so much work.
Yeah.
But what I did do is I just went on eBay and bought it from Japan.
Wow.
So here it is. This is the Final Fantasy II novelization, straight from Japan.
Wow, that is amazing.
This was, let me look up some background on this. So this was written by Kenji Terada, who was the writer for Final Fantasy II. He wrote the script for the game. That's
There he
him right
is.
there. He wrote the script for Final Fantasy II. So this is the guy who wrote the game, and he's like, "I'll write a novel too
Wow.
to accompany it." And let's just take a peek at it, and we'll talk about it a little
crazy.
bit. But like I said, for the people at home, I guess let's do it like this.
Oh yeah.
Because that's how the video is going to be. But for the people at home, if you're just listening to the podcast, check out the video because there's some pictures in this book.
Yeah.
It is a novel, obviously. It's not a manga. But there's pictures.
Look at that beautiful man.
Look at him and that mustache.
Oh yes.
That's so good.
He knows. He knew he wrote a banger.
Oh, yes. And it is a banger from what we read of the translation.
Yeah.
Very good. But let's flip through it a little bit.
Okay.
There's this full art right here on the front of the main
Ooh.
characters of Final Fantasy II. We got,
Wow.
who are the characters again? Firion.
Oh yes. Guy.
Guy. Yeah, that's right.
I believe there was.
Who else? Leon and Maria.
Yes.
That's who we have. So Leon and Maria are brother and sister. And
Okay.
then in this novel, they go into more in depth on the characters' backstories and stuff than they did in the game actually.
Oh, so I realize Japanese is read like this, like top.
Yeah,
down.
it's read top down, right to left
Yeah.
usually, or at least in a novel form. Sometimes they'll just do regular left to right.
This
or
is
whatever, but-
awesome.
Yeah, this is really cool, and the illustrations are really good. I wonder if it was
Wow.
Amano who did the illustrations or not. I'm not sure. It doesn't really say.
I wonder if it says in the book.
That looks like Amano though. So I'm gonna say that's the classic Final Fantasy concept artist. What is his full name?
I'm
Amano.
not sure.
I want to get there's a book of all of his illustration. Yoshitaka Amano
Okay.
is the artist. Yoshitaka Amano. He does all the cool concept art for Final Fantasy. So he did the art for this, I believe. It looks like his art.
Wow.
But yeah, the fan translation that we were listening to, like I said, it went more in depth with the characters' backstories. It talked about Leon and Maria being brother and sister. It talked about Firion being another kid that hangs out with them in the village. Guy they talk about him being someone who grew up with animals in the wild. That's why
Yeah.
he talks in one word sentences basically, and as we saw in the game, can talk to animals too. We got an illustration
That one
here.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember. So there's this there's a marriage ceremony that's
Yeah.
happening in the story, and they have to go up. The women have to go up to a mountain to find their match at the top of the mountain. So that I think that's what is being depicted
Yeah.
there is something bad happens during the trek up the mountain.
Yeah, there was a witch or something.
Yeah. And so Firion is trying to stop that. So the
See, here's the mountain. it
oh
looks
yeah, there we go. And then I think this is where Leon gets corrupted.
Yes.
And turns to the dark side or whatever. So yeah, it mostly is the story of Final Fantasy II. There are a couple changes. Unfortunately, I mean this is really gonna hurt the rating. I think Yosef's not in this book.
Wow.
They cut Yosef out of the book.
How can you cut Yosef?
They cut Ricard too, which is also
Oh.
seems like a
Ooh.
big character. He's the guy you find in I think the castle.
Yes.
That is becomes the prince or whatever. I don't remember what his deal was. What do we got here? Ooh,
I'm not sure.
some sort of fight on a slope.
Yeah,
I think.
that's really cool. The art is always so amazing.
Yeah. Sid is not in this one either. I don't remember Sid being a huge character in this game though.
I don't.
so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, they gotta have Minwoo though.
Oh, they do have Minwoo, and also Minwoo does not die in this book.
Oh,
Minwoo
good.
helps save the day and stays alive. They also apparently in the game they never revealed the Emperor's name, but it's in this book. It's Emperor Mateus.
It looks like he's right there.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so Emperor Mateus, he's the bad guy of the story. He gets corrupted by basically the devil.
Yeah.
This novel directly according to this Final Fantasy wiki I'm reading. I don't know. I can't read Japanese, so I don't know if this is true or not. The book just straight up refers to it as Satan. So he gets corrupted by Satan, and that's what happens. The classic Final Fantasy thing of there's an eviler person behind the evil person that you've been
Yep.
chasing the whole time.
Every time. Gotta get it.
What other differences we got? So yeah, like how there's no pandemonium, if you remember that like final dungeon in the game. You don't have that. It just is Minwoo and like Hilda find some gem, like some stone.
Okay.
What am I? Crystal. What am I talking about? Come on, we're doing Final Fantasy
Gotta
here.
be a crystal.
It's a crystal. They find a crystal. I think that happens in the game. It's been so long since we played Final Fantasy 2. But I think that's what like unlocks Pandemonium or gets you to Pandemonium. Ooh, Leon.
Yeah.
Look at that, Leon.
He's looking really cool.
Ooh. But yeah, the crystal I think gets them to Pandemonium, but in this it just helps like take Satan's control off of Mateus, and then they're able to save the Emperor that way. Sweet. And so then Minwoo doesn't die, because I think Minwoo dies at like that point when you get the crystal in the game or something.
Damn, can't believe they cut Yosef.
I know, I can't believe it. But that's like mostly the differences. Everything else is just the game, because like we said, this guy, Kenji Terada, he wrote the game, so he wrote the book.
And like the game is like, it's like a story in itself already. So
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's like he just added a little bit more.
Yeah, a little flair, a little background to everything. So I like it. And I think like if you read the fan translation on Tumblr, or if you can read Japanese, that's better too.
Yeah.
But the fan translation's really good from what they've translated, and like the story's very engaging too. I was into it the whole time. Ooh, what's this?
Like we got a dragon or something.
Oh. Could it be like a Bahamut?
Yeah, or maybe Leviathan.
Oh yeah. Well, I think there was one earlier that was like a Leviathan type thing.
Ooh. But yeah, it looks like the whole party's down there.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a cool like angle for this picture too. Yeah, it looks like a dragon of some sort.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I didn't realize this book was going to be so small too.
I know,
it's like
really small.
I can fit it in my pocket.
Oh wow, look at that.
Who's that? Is that like Hilda maybe?
I don't know. Just in the field with some birds, or in the water or something.
Or perhaps Maria? Who could say? I was like, what if because Google has that like Google Translate lens thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've tried that. I tried to see if that would work. It doesn't work. It's it's
take
complete.
A picture?
Yeah, it's like complete gibberish the way that Google translates it. So it's like, there's no way we're reading it like this.
Also, like translating with like technology is like sometimes it doesn't get the context right.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll mismatch like certain words in certain ways and stuff. So and
like certain sayings don't really mean the same thing.
Yeah.
When you translate it.
So if we really wanted to read it, I'd have to just learn Japanese, which is, that's a whole couple years that would take me to do. And we've looked at the Final Fantasy 3 manga already on this show, and we didn't read Japanese then. So I thought, you know what? We'll look at the pictures. We'll check out this book. Oh, what's this? Is that like really the Emperor's like castle upon the tower?
Yeah, a very tall mountain. That's
interesting.
Really cool.
But yeah, there's I think there's enough in this book that it's interesting to check it out.
Yeah.
I like these illustrations. Again, I wish I could confirm if they were by Amano, but I believe they are by Amano.
If only we could read the Japanese.
Exactly, yeah. If only. And so it's interesting because like they don't really continue doing novelizations of the games after. They didn't even do a novelization of the first game.
I know.
So I think that's so weird that they do like novelization of the second game, manga adaptation of the third game, and then they're just like, we're not going to do that anymore.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
But this is awesome. I love how small the book is.
Yeah, and it even like the outside is like a sleeve too, and like the actual part of the book is just like looks like a weird like old book that you would find.
That's funny. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Was it hard to find?
It not really actually. There were like a couple on eBay, and this one was actually like pretty cheap.
Nice.
So I had to pick it up because we gotta cross this one off the list.
and I've been trying to like look for memorabilia of like Final Fantasy and stuff like that, and like this is just like one step to that.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those things. Ooh, wow. Look at that.
That's like Mateus and like Maria,
yeah,
probably.
I think so. That is crazy looking.
Damn.
Yeah, I wish we could read the Japanese. But because what we read of the translation was very good.
Yeah.
Like obviously we really loved this game, but
but I was into the story. I was like invested in it. I liked the backgrounds that all the characters got.
And that's the reason why we didn't do this episode in the first place, because look at that art too.
Oh.
That's really cool.
Furion and Maria probably.
But that's the reason we didn't do this, because we wanted to finish it. Like we wanted to read all of it because we enjoyed it so much, but sadly like the translation
just couldn't
didn't work out. There's probably the information.
Information about publishing and stuff. And some ads for additional stuff. This was published by, who is it published by? It was published by Kadokawa Shoten.
Okay.
On the Sneaker Bunko imprint.
Let's see what's the just straight up. Oh.
Yeah, it's got like a sky, and then on the front I think it has just the title of the book in the same like pattern basically.
Oh. There's the back again. Oh yeah. The front. Oh yeah! Wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
It's cool, and I really like the that like 2-page spread at the beginning. That's like the map of the world. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah,
where's that?
Right there. Yeah.
Oh wow,
it's so cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I didn't see that at the beginning.
Yeah, I love when a book has a map.
Oh
in
yes,
it. It's the best.
And that's the map.
That's the map. That's the world.
Yeah. Wow.
I remember all that. I think that was like a volcano or something. I think because you had to get the canoe to like go through the rivers or whatever. I
believe there's. Oh no! See, now I'm mixing up the first and the second game. I was like, this is where they build the bridge. And everything.
Yeah.
But oh man, what a great game!
What a great game!
Love the art too.
Mm-hmm. So that's the book. That's Final Fantasy II, Muma no Meikyū, the Labyrinth of Nightmares, Nightmares Labyrinth, however the grammar works out.
Yeah.
By Kenji Terada, fresh from Japan.
Oh yes.
But yeah, it's so I just found it again. It's ffii-book.tumblr.com is the person that we were reading. So shout out to you. Mm-hmm. I hope you're rocking on.
Oh yes,
and hanging loose.
Hopefully, you can start this up again. If not, that's okay.
Yeah, we're chilling. But thank you for your service.
Yes.
But anyway, where are we going to rank this book?
Yes.
Now that we finally have it in the flesh, we got to rank it. So on most enjoyable, I mean, it was good. The book was good. No Yosef?
No Yosef.
No Yosef. There's no way it can be above the game.
Like honestly, the most enjoyable part of the game was Yosef.
Exactly. He got the bald head, the mustache.
If only we could have seen a drawing of Yosef.
Oh, that would be so good. That would be great. So yeah, I think this is going below Final Fantasy II at least. Mm-hmm. Next after that is Final Fantasy III manga. I think that's better than this.
Yeah,
probably.
I'd say so.
Final Fantasy the first game, probably better than this.
Yeah, I'd say we could. I mean, that's honestly like where
it's hard to judge this even. So
because we don't get the whole story.
We've only read I think it's like a fourth of this book we've read.
Yeah.
So
what's below? Is there anything below Final Fantasy 1?
Yeah, we got Final Fantasy 1 at 10. 11 is Final Fantasy Adventure, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals, that anime. Chocobo's Mysterious Dungeon, and then the Legend games after that.
Maybe we put it just above the Legend games.
Yeah, I feel like even above Chocobo's Mysterious Dungeon. Because that was the first one. That one was good, but it was like they were still working out the kinks on it, I think.
The second one was amazing.
Yeah. So I feel like it's fair, because Legend of the Crystals is wild. It's that anime, that 3-part anime that's trying to be Studio Ghibli. It's crazy.
Silly, but still
worth
insane and very good, well produced.
Yeah. So I think right below Legend of the Crystals is good for this game. So we're putting it there. Final Fantasy II, Labyrinth of Nightmares, the novel, is going at number 14 on our list of most enjoyable. But most Final Fantasy, where's it going to rank on most Final Fantasy? I think it did good to I actually don't know, because it's there's not a lot of novels in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And this is trying to be like a novel. It's trying to tell a full story in a novel form, which is interesting.
And honestly, like, obviously we don't get everything that's in it, but even Final Fantasy 2 wasn't necessarily like the most Final Fantasy game.
Right.
Like, I think as we've gone on in the series, like, we can understand like what Final Fantasy like is more of.
Yeah.
And like I used to think that it's like more the like medieval kind of aspect, but I feel like most Final Fantasy games like past even like 5 are like less medieval.
Like mixing like future stuff.
Yeah, like
with
since 6, like every Final Fantasy game has been futuristic.
Yeah,
like
in some way, and even like it's been that way kind of the whole time too. Because even like in Final Fantasy 1, you go to the future and there's like the robots. There's like that one like hard boss that you can encounter.
Yeah, like we just don't get the better context we would with like the animation because it was like 8-bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But this one specifically, I think, at least for what we read, was more of that medieval like aspect.
And it was really trying to flesh out like the backstories and these weird like rituals that this community had with the marriage ceremony at the hill.
It was more like mystical instead of
it's like a fantasy novel. I don't know. I've read a couple fantasy novels before, and it is like very much that. It's trying to be like a just this like medieval, fantastical, like magical adventure story thing. So I feel like it's not super Final Fantasy. Like I definitely put it below Mystic Quest, below Chocobo's Mysterious Dungeon.
I definitely think it's more Final Fantasy than the Legend games.
Oh yeah, like Legend 3 is the highest one we have.
And that still like didn't really have much to do with Final Fantasy.
Yeah. It was like it had the switching between like worlds, switching between overworlds and stuff, which was kind of interesting, but that was all it really had going for it.
And really, when I think of those games, they're just like their own thing.
Yeah, like, they are. I mean, they literally are because they're the Saga games or whatever they're called.
It's like so like it's like a puzzle piece that doesn't fit.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I guess this will go below Chocobo's Mysterious Dungeon as again the number 14 most Final Fantasy thing. I'm excited to get it off the list.
Yes.
It's real and it's right here.
It's a beautiful book.
It's a beautiful book. Shout out to Kenji Terada.
Oh, yes.
Shout out to, I assume, Yoshitaka Amano.
Legend.
Who did the art. It looks like it. Who could say? Yeah, legend. But it's great.
Yeah.
What a nice surprise. Check out that Tumblr. Read some of the translation. Yeah. It's really good. I think it's really good.
It was so good.
But that's it. I mean, number 14 on both lists.
Wow. What a nice surprise. A nice little book.
Yeah. And then coming up next, we're still working on Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, yes.
That episode's going to be a good one.
We're going to have to like write down our points.
Yeah.
It is such a long, like confusing game.
Elaborate game.
As most of them are.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get to that Final Fantasy VIII. But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Of course.
Hope you enjoyed this little peek at this interesting piece of Final Fantasy memorabilia. Check it out. Check out the book if you want. I don't know. If you want to spend like $40 on eBay or something.
And check out that translation.
Yeah.
Check out our stuff as always.
Exactly. Check us out on whatever.
We're on everything.
We're on YouTube or on some of the other stuff too. X,
that's the thing.
I think that's still going.
Yeah.
Anyway, see you later.
See ya.
And we'll talk to you again when we have finished Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, yes. Hopefully soon.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.